Baie welkom by Kaap vol hoop en ons kuier by die pragtige en ikoniese Nieuweland Krieketveld, net so skuins langs Tafelberg met die SA20 Reeks in volle swang. Die mooiste gesig is 'n vol Nieuweland met son onder en duisende ondersteuners wat die plaaslike span getrou ondersteun. 'n Geskiedenis wat teruggaan al die pad na 1888 en ons gesels krieket onthou stories. Bekende krieketkommentator Maak deel sy herinneringe en ervarings en Mike Huisman het onthou stories van toe hy vir die Australiese rebelle op Nieuweland uitgestap het. Mubin Mohammed vertel van krieket kyk op Nieuweland as kind en waarom Nieuweland vir Kaapenaars spesiaal is. En Proteas legende Win en Philander deel ook van sy speelherinneringe en grootwordlesse op die Kaapse vlakte. Maar eerstens vind ek bekende omroeper Maak by sy uitsyhokkie in die Parel.
Look, I mean, Newlands is in there amongst the world's greatest cricket grounds for many reasons. It's very a warm place to watch cricket. The crowd sort of wrap itself around the playing area, and of course the vista as you look to the mountain, even the brewery in its way, being there so long, has a certain charm about it. The Oaks, all that stuff that's part of history. Everybody wants to play there. But Newlands isn't the only gorgeous ground down here. This place, Boylan Park, is spectacular. I can only think of one ground in the world that sits in mountains in the way that this does, and that's in North India, Dharamshala. Really, some of the views we've got a drone thing going here, and some of the shots are sort of across the turf, through the pitch itself, and then up into the mountain, particularly at night, are absolutely gorgeous. South Africa full of great places to play. There's not a ground here that I don't like.
You've been all over the world covering mostly cricket all over the world. Cape Town as a place to visit, as a tourism spot as well. Just your thoughts on that?
Well, Cape Town's in my three favourite cities in the world, so I'm very happy coming to Cape Town. I've got a lot of friends here. There's a lot of wonderful places to stay, a lot of wonderful things to do. Fun, restaurants and bars. It's just a very stylish place, and I love that. I mean, it's obviously beautiful. I think that's pretty well known, natural beauty, as well as man-made beauty. But it's the fact that it's the style of it. It's a classy, stylish place. I love it.
And just the wine region as well. Maybe the Stellenbosch Paarl region. That adds to it a little bit.
Well, I've got a lot of friends in the business, so I know the vineyards pretty well. A couple of friends own wineries here, and just up the road from here, from Boylan Park, actually, just outside Wellington, Skultberger Senior makes fantastic wine, and I go and visit him. I was going to go this evening, but I'm not actually. I visit him, and we sit on the stoop and look out over his lake, and wow, what's better than that? And Skult Junior can really play. Let me tell you, he would have been a first-class cricketer, no doubt in my mind at all. And who knows, how far he would have gone. It was cricket or rugby when he was 17. I've actually played against him in a charity match, and geez, he can strike a cricket ball.
Experiences all over the world. I know you co-wrote Shane Warne's book as well, and characters that you've met over the time, maybe Shane Warne and people like that. Incredible cricketers, incredible people as well.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Warne would be number one in terms of personality, because he's just the most extraordinary guy in so many ways, other than we kind of know a lot about him on the cricket field, where he was without compare, but off the field he was a kind and generous person. He was very funny, hugely competitive. We played a lot of golf against one another, and there were many a stern word spoken. So he's probably number one, though in many ways my best friend in the game was Malcolm Marshall. I was honoured to be asked to give the eulogy at his funeral / memorial service in Barbados, which went live on air around the whole of the Caribbean. And he's a terrible loss too. And the other one that I've lost who's a dear friend is Martin Crowe, former New Zealand captain. So those three would rate, along with some older guys, some mentors of mine, the former England captain Ted Dexter, Richie Benno. Those sort of people are all up there in the stratosphere of wonderful people I've met in cricket, and wonderful cricketers themselves.
That kind of reminds one just to enjoy the moment and what family cricket actually is. You played lots of first-class cricket as well. Those friendships, that's different in cricket.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I've talked about ones who have passed, but obviously there are a hell of a lot that are still alive. And the friendships in many ways are what make it. It's a wonderful game. I find cricket aesthetically very pleasing. I love watching cricket, but the people you meet from it and the friends that last forever are just amazing, really. And friendship is not a moment in time. Friendship's forever. And so here I am, all these years on, still with a lot of the same guys, having a lot of laughs and enjoying a glass of Cape wine.
Many more golf tournaments for you, golf games for you. Hopefully you'll have a few partners that give you those 3-foot putts.
Well, I think I get asked to putt them, really. Fair enough.
Welkom terug by Kaap vol Hoop waar ons Nieuweland Krieket gesels en ek kry oud Australiese speler Mike Huisman by 'n volgepakte SA20 wedstryd.
My first memory of this ground was way back in October 1985 when we came on the Kim Hughes tour and played against South Africa in those days. And I think I got a few runs batting out in the second innings, and that was fine. That was good. And Bryce and the boys were charging in, so it was nice experience. But we couldn't believe when we came here and saw this ground. We were absolutely stunned by it. We were so amazed to be playing at a ground with a mountain on the side and just the atmosphere. There was a full house we played in front of. I was fortunate enough when we came back the following year. I got 150. Ran out my roommate John Dyson on 199. He didn't speak to me for a month. But I've got really fond memories here, and that was my first one. But we were stunned about the beauty of Newlands and how magnificent it was.
Yeah. Still remember the old scoreboard and the old the tree lines around the stadium?
Yeah, we had the oaks was around the place in those days, and all the chirps. You could hear all the chirps coming from all over the place, which just added to the atmosphere unbelievably. Was Castle Corner was down this end. It was down the commentary box end. There was no big commentary box area. Castle Corner was here. I remember Rod McCurdy used to have so much fun when he was down there footing in front of Castle Corner, and he got Castle Corner fired up, which was quite exciting for him. He was doing some interesting stuff. But it was just the whole atmosphere of Newlands to us was just mind-blowing really when we first saw it. That was just remarkable.
Standard of cricket, I mean, you played with against legends like Graham Pollock and faced Garth LaRue Jeffries and Vince van der Bijl and those players. That was special as well. Very competitive, good cricket in the 80s there.
We couldn't believe how many all-rounders South Africa had in those days. I mean, every single bloke could bat and bowl. It was just ridiculous. The next guy came in, Clive Rice. Next guy came in, Garth LaRue. I mean, it was just all these guys could bat and bowl. Obviously the Graham Pollocks were playing against him, and we got quite lucky, I think. In fact, I know, because he broke a finger at one stage. Unfortunately for him, he came for a couple of hundreds and then broke a finger, so we didn't see much of him for the next couple of weeks. But he came back, got another 100. So we were sick to death of seeing him, to be honest. But in fact, I was never personally. I just had so much joy, even though I was in the field chasing what he was hitting. It was just such a joy to watch him play, which was nice. But the South Africans played it really hard, and fair but hard, and that was also something that was really impressive.
And special for you to be able to then make South Africa home as well. So got you into commentary in a way.
Yeah, after that tour, I decided to stay in South Africa. I lived here, met my wife for the first week of the tour actually. Lived here for, I live in the States now, but lived here for 23 years I think it was. Played at Northern Transvaal for a long time and had the best cricketing time of my life. It was a wonderful team to play with. Northern Transvaal and Western Province have some real battles here at this venue as well, which was also nice. Although internationals playing, we had Finey de Villiers, Tersus was, Herman Krobler, Ezra Mosey, Sylvester Clark, we had all the quicks around the place, which was really good. And some top order batsmen who could really bat. So we had some really nice clashes against Province, and they were tiny. Then I went to Transvaal and played here as well for Transvaal. And then now the last, what are we talking? I can just remember, I think it's now 27 years of commentary. And every time I know I'm coming to Cape Town, I get seriously excited about the fact that I'm going to be at this venue. We can hear in the background the DJs pump things up for this SA20 game, which is great. And everyone just gets involved, and the crowd for this game at the moment is just stupendous. So,
ja, baie lekker atmosfeer op Nieuweland en Mike Huisman is 'n ware legende. Ek het ook vir Mobeen Mohammed gevra wat Nieuweland vir die Kaapenaars beteken.
Baie goeie memories. Van kleins af ek het eers hier cricket gespeel, ek het begin hier in graad 1, ek het cricket gespeel, daai tyd was dit die Bykers mini cricket, hy was in 1999, 2000, en ja, ek moet sê, as jy hier kyk, is baie mooi, is gevaarlik mooi. In Engels wil sê, this is the most beautiful ground in the world, so, ja, ek het nie baie woorde, Nieuweland is Nieuweland, is maar net baie wonderlik.
In die kom ons sê maar in die ou tyd, in die vroeë jare, het hulle altyd met teetyd en middagete almal op die veld, op die gronde toegelaat, net die golfplat so afgesper. Het jy ook so 'n bietjie cricketballe geslaan hierso?
Ja, natuurlik, ek het, en ek kan onthou nog, die boundary ropes, het was bruin boundary ropes, het was nie die barricades wat hulle nou het, so ja, was baie goeie memories hier. En ek moet sê, elke jaar wat ek gekom het, ek het altyd gekom by die nuwe jaar toets. En elke jaar was het altyd 20.000 of 15.000. En as Engeland hier kom, is die stadium van day 1 tot day 5 was het elke dag vol. So ja, ek het baie goeie memories van Nieuweland. Ja.
En Kaapse cricket was nog altyd lekker om te volg en lekker om te kom kyk en kompeteer. En veral nuwejaarstoetse.
En ook, as jy praat van Westelike provinsie cricket, het was altyd sterk. Ek kan onthou, ek het altyd vir Houshoek Gibbs gekyk, en Graham Smith, en almal die manne, Alan Dawson, almal die groot name. En hulle het altyd hier gespeel by die domestic games. Daar was altyd groot domestic games. Daar was groot crowds ook wat hier gekom het vir die domestic games. Net nie vir die oujaars, die nuwe jaar tot so. Ja, ek moet sê, Arie, ek het baie goeie memories hier. Ja, as ek hier kom, man, smile ek vir die wêreld altyd.
AgriMonitor is jou weeklikse landbouprogram wat jou die jongste nuus bring oor die landboubedrywighede, produkte, dienste en onderwerpe wat hiermee verband hou. Ons streef daarna om uit te reik na alle boere, landbou- en finansiële instellings, sowel as landbou-entoesiaste. Die program word op NTV en oneup2.com uitgesaai en word ook op AgriMonitor, Republikein en Namibia Media Holdings se platforms gedeel. AgriMonitor fokus op die nuusgesprek, plaas toe, dagbesoek, vleispryse en veilings. Vir enige advertensie of nuusverwante navrae, kontak agrimonitor@synergy.com.na.
Ons is terug by Kaap vol hoop en gesels steeds krieket met die bekende Nieuweland as fokus. Die kriketveld en rugbyveld so neffens mekaar en vir die Kaapse sportliefhebber bied Nieuweland Krieket baie onthou oomblikke. Ons gesels verder met Mobeen Mohammed en hy vertel van skole krieket.
Ek het laerskool by Rondebosch Boys gegaan. Is nommer 1 kriketskool in die land en ook in hoërskool by Westerford. Daar was ook 'n baie goeie twee groot kriketskole in die Kaap, ja. So ek het lekker geniet.
En skole krieket in die Kaap ook lekker kompetering.
Is baie sterk. Op die oomblik is die krieket 'n bietjie dood nou, maar dit kom weer op. Jy weet mos COVID, ons het nou 3 jaar breek gehad van competitive cricket, so die krieket kom maar aan nou. Ja.
As jy so terugkyk aan oomblikke wat mense onthou, wedstryde wat Winan Philander ingestorm het en 'n paar wickets
Ek sal nooit vergeet in 2011, daai wedstryd wat hy hier sy debuut gemaak het. Ja, hy was teen Australië, hy was nou ongelooflik, hy het hy bal gedraai en daar was inswingers, outswingers, alles wat hy was net amazing op 'n dag. Ek sal nooit hy wedstryd vergeet. En ook die ander wedstryd was die een wedstryd wat Suid-Afrika speel teen Nieu-Seeland. Hulle het vir Nieu-Seeland 45 gebal. Ek kan onthou daar was twee die Australië toets in Nieu-Seeland. Daar is goeie memories vir my. En ja, wat kan ek sê, Arie? I smile for the world. Pragtig.
Ons is nou in die aand hier so, die SA20, sommer net jou gevoel rondom dit, jy's 'n man van die media, jy's by baie sportgeleenthede.
Ja, ek moet sê, ek is baie, die crowd attendance was outstanding hier. Vir elke wedstryd was dit amper vol. Vandag was dit uitverkoop, sold out. En die atmosfeer, die vibe en die energy wat ons hier gekry het was fenomenaal. Ek moet sê, ek dink die toernooi gaat nou baie groei elke jaar. Volgende jaar gaan dit groter wees. So ja, is maar net ek is nou 'n bietjie teleurgestel wat ons nou dis die laaste huiswedstryd wat ons nou speel hier. Goeie nuus wat die ICC Women's Wêreldbeker gekry. So hulle doen nou almal die preparations en voorbereidings vir hy. So ja, ons sien dat maar
So laastens Nieuweland Krieket, Nieuweland Rugby is net nie oor die treinspoor. Dis eintlik jammer dat daai Nieuweland Krieket en rugby nie so saam meer is nie, maar nuwe memories wat mense weer maak by die Kaapstad stadion.
Ja, natuurlik. Wat kan ek sê, die Stormers het die URC gewen die eerste jaar wat ons daar gekom het. So ja, maar ek moet sê nog 'n memories wat ek gehad het van ek het park rugby gespeel by skool en dit was dieselfde soos bykers mini cricket. En ek kan onthou elke wedstryd wat ek gekyk het, ek het altyd agter die palle gesit met ons skool ticket wat ons gekry het. En ek kan onthou my maak my altyd R50 gegee het, maar ek het gesê Mobien, dat koop jou hot chips en 'n Coke en toe chommies en almal. So ek het almal daai memories en ek kan onthou my varsity days en my hoërskool daar ons het altyd rugby gespeel daar. Daar was altyd interskole, Rondebosch Bishops, Westerwood Seks, almal daai wedstryd wat ons gespeel het. So ja, baie goeie memories. Maar ek moet sê is 'n fresh start by Cape Town Stadium, is 'n hell of a start. So ek is baie happy daar te wees. Ja. Kan nie kla nie.
So laaste vraag hier, die program se naam is Kaap vol hoop. 2023 wat gaan sommer net sport in Suid-Afrika. Sommer net so 'n boodskap van hoop vir mense wat luister dalk vir wat lief is ook vir sport en sommer vir die jaar wat kom.
Ja, ek wil nie vir mense sê, COVID was daar, dit was baie swaar vir 3 jaar. Ons het nie fans gehad nie en daar was nie baie mense in die stadiums. Kom terug na die stadiums, bring jou familie, bring jou vriende en enjoy net, geniet die tyd hier. Jy kan 'n lekker bier drink hier, jy kan 'n lekker boerewissel gaan koop, jy kan lekker van net met die familie en vriende. So ja, ek sien net vir die mense daar, fans en almal die mense by die huis, kom terug na die stadiums toe. As dit wat die rugby is by Cape Town Stadium of by Nieuweland of na die netball wêreldbeker, as baie dinge op die gang. So ek sê vir die mense, kom uit, ondersteun almal die spanne, local, international, wat jy wil ondersteun en geniet net jou sport. Ja.
Kletskompas is 'n Afrikaanse kontinuïteitsprogram met Namibiese nuus en onderhoude. Kletskompas streef om die hart van die Afrikaanssprekende gemeenskap te bereik. Nuwe episodes van die program word elke weekdag op NTV, oneup2.com en op Republikein se Facebook-platform uitgesaai. Kletskompas fokus op nuus, onderhoude, lesersfoto's en die sportprent. Vir enige nuusverwante navrae of advertensiebenodigdhede, kontak klets@synergy.com.na.
Welkom terug by Kaap vol hoop met 'n lekker krieketkuier by Nieuweland. Ons kan daarom ook nie anders as om met een van Nieuweland se legendes te gesels nie. Vernon Philander het menigte kolwers op Nieuweland paviljoen toegestuur en Vernon vertel wat Nieuweland vir hom beteken.
As a young kid, it was always a dream to play at Nieuweland. I got the opportunity eventually, to play for Western Province back in the days as a junior, as a kid. So, lifelong dream, and I got to call it my home. Like you said, special memories. I think it's just such a wonderful atmosphere, scenic. To me, it's the best ground in the world. For a number of reasons. Obviously, like I said, it became my home. But who doesn't want to do well at this? At this particular venue. So, I think when you come down here, all you want to do is do well. So, it's been a blessing, to call it my home for many a year.
And many New Year tests and other tests as well. That quite glad that you could bowl on the first morning and some movement in the pitch there.
Absolutely, I think wonderful crowds down here. I think it's a time of year, where everyone comes down from Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, or wherever they come from, and it's like I said, such a special atmosphere, and it's good to see these sort of crowds back into the stadiums because those test matches, day 1, 2, and 3, the crowds were like this. It's just phenomenal. I think for me as a player and as a commentator these days, it's good to see how the wagon obviously swung all the way around to see crowds back in. But a wonderful place, lots of memories, lots of good memories. We had some fantastic test matches being played here, some fantastic contests between some of the world's best batsman bowlers, and it's thanks to obviously the game affording me those opportunities, but a lot of friends met along the way, and a lot of friendships hopefully that we can cherish for the rest of our lives.
The program's called Kaap for Whip. You're a product from Cape Town, and you had to fight your way up to get into that position to play for South Africa as well, and there's hope for the rest of Cape Town and the rest of South Africa.
Absolutely, I think that's probably the one thing that we've done, particularly well in Cape Town, is to afford people opportunity, and I think we're sports lovers. We're lovers of life, we're lovers of humanity. I'm starting a project very soon called the Humanity Drive, and it's to afford people opportunity, and like you said, there should be hope, and I think we're ultimately the custodians of the next generation to provide them with that hope, but not just with the hope, but to provide them with opportunity. So you guys keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we'll afford a lot more people opportunity in life.
Where you grew up, you saw different sides of life, and you had friends that lost their lives, etc. But that motivates you to just dig in your heels and make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, when you grow up in the sort of areas that we grew up in, there's a lot of elements, like you said, so you're always up against it. So I've had a big belief that you can either use it as motivation to get out of it, or you can use it as an excuse to fall into that trap. And I'd like to encourage a lot of kids or a lot of young people to use it as motivation. It's very often to put role models in front of kids these days, but to understand the circumstances, the battles that they have to fight on the ground is a completely different topic. So I'd like to encourage, like I said, use it as motivation. Get yourself out of your areas and really become a role model to your family. I always talk about become, or make an impact in your world, and your world is ultimately those that close to you. So go out. I want to wish you guys well, all the best, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of role models coming from the greater Cape Town.
Ja, sekerlik nog baie rolmodelle wat die Kaap sal oplewer. 'n Win en Philander beslis 'n rolmodel op die veld en ook in die gemeenskap. En ons het lekker krieket gesels. En mag Nieuweland Krieketveld nog vele mooi sonsondergange vir ondersteuners bied en hopelik 'n paar goeie oorwinnings ook so tussenin. Tot volgende week, groet uit die Kaap.